everyone, and welcome to another book video. Woo! I said that with the most, feigned excitement I have ever heard in my life. But it is exciting, because in this video, I want to show you some of the books that I wish that my boyfriend Tom would read. We talk a lot about reading, because obviously I really enjoy reading, and I share with him my love, and he does read a little bit as well, but in a lot slower pace than I do. He's currently been reading the 5th Harry Potter for about a year, and also I just looked out of the window and I saw that my neighbor is staring at me, so that's really awkward. Also, this is a good time to mention that apologies for the shifting lighting in this video, because Tom has visited me and has taken away his amazing ring light, which means that I am now victim to the woes of nature, if you will. The sun comes out, it goes back in, it's very frustrating. Here comes the sun again, now it's going to be lighter again. It's very annoying, but I can't do anything about it. I don't have a light anymore. It's very sad. This is what we have to deal with. But yes, let's get started and go into the video and show you 5 of the books that I wish that Tom would read. The first book in this pile is Artemis Fowl by Owen Colfer. Now this is a childhood classic. This is basically my Harry Potter. I mean, Harry Potter was also my Harry Potter. I absolutely love Harry Potter. But this was kind of the first thing that I fell in love with. It was one of my brother's favorite series. He's 5.5 years older than me, so he kind of started listening to this at an appropriate time, I guess. He started listening to this when he was like 10, 11 maybe, and I could hear it coming from his room. And I was like, I want to listen to that as well, because my brother's cool and I want to like all of the things that he likes. So at 5 or 6 years old, I picked up the audiobooks for this and fell in love. So yeah, I just kind of want to share the childhood nostalgia with Tom a little bit and kind of be able to talk about this series and talk about how horrible the movie is going to be. With him being able to relate and understand what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen the trailer for the Artemis Fowl movie, you should, but it will ruin your childhood if you liked Artemis Fowl in any capacity. The commander is a woman, which just doesn't make any sense, because one of the main characters in the book is supposed to be the first woman in the police force, and or the first female captain, I guess, at least, and it's just so frustrating that when the commander is a woman, that means that a huge part of her character has been taken away, because her character was so much surrounded this struggle of being the first female captain, but then the commander is a woman, so that doesn't make any sense anymore. I'm not excited for this movie at all, and I've also gone off the rails, so yeah. Tom, if you're watching, you should definitely pick this book up and not watch the movie first. Next book is a completely obvious one for both you, Tom, if you're watching, and also everyone else who has ever watched my channel, and that is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I talk about this book in almost every single one of my videos. It's an amazing book. I absolutely love it. Brandon Sanderson, definitely one of my top 3 authors. I don't even have a top author list. I don't know why I said that. But if I had one, he would be up there. And yeah, this book is just so interesting, and Tom read The Knife of Never Letting Go and the 2 other books in that series that I can't remember the name of right now, and he did really enjoy that, so I know that he can read a book that is this big. But yeah, I would just want to be able to share the joy of Brandon Sanderson with him, to be honest. For those of you who don't know, this is a book about a world where basically the Dark Lord has won. He's ruled over the land for 1,000 years at this point, and then in comes a rebel group who want to stop him, and we follow a lovely variety of characters that are involved in this heist, and it's amazing, and the characters are so well developed and so beautiful, and I love all of them. The magic system is also really, really cool. I don't really want to explain it to you, because explaining it just sounds stupid, but it's really, really good, and it has some great, limitations on it, I guess, so the people with magic aren't completely invincible, which I do really appreciate. So yeah, book number 2, The Final Empire. Book number 3 is something completely different, and it is The Lord of the Flies by William Golding. This is my favourite classic, if you will, of all time. I read this in high school, I assume. It's been a while. No, actually, I didn't read it in high school. That's wrong. I listened to this on audiobook on my mum's iPod at some point because I was bored at the cabin and I had nothing to do, and mum was like, just choose an audiobook from my iPod, and the only thing that sounded interesting, apparently, was Lord of the Flies. Didn't know it was a classic at the time, but I absolutely loved it. I don't really know what else to say. It's a very strange and interesting story, and anyone who hasn't read Lord of the Flies definitely should. I actually don't know if Tom has read the Lord of the Flies or not. Maybe he has, for all I know. If you have, Tom, good job. We should talk about it, and also I should reread this because it's been a long time since I listened to this, I guess. Next up, we have The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. That is a very big mouthful. The reason I want Tom to read this is because I would be interested to see if he enjoys this kind of book. I know he really enjoys sci-fi. This is sci-fi, but it's kind of like slow sci-fi. I guess not a lot of stuff happens, but the stuff that does happen is really interesting. And mostly it's just a story. It's, I think, 7 people on a ship for half a year or something like that, and the story just revolves around them getting to know each other and trying to survive like the isolation of being on one ship and one journey for 6 months. The crew is filled up of people from loads of different ethnicities, loads of different races. Some of them aren't even human, and it's just kind of a really interesting book on tolerance and acceptance and learning about other people, and I just find it super interesting. It's so character driven, which is something I don't really know if Tom likes, so it would be really interesting to see if he did enjoy this book and what he liked about it, or if he found it to be slow and boring and whatever. And then the last book, again, is one that I just want him to read to see if he enjoys it, and that is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. This is historical fiction, and as far as I know, Tom hasn't read a lot of historical fiction. He might have done, I don't know. He took a like English literature course in university once, so maybe there was some historical fiction related things in that, but I feel like that was more like sci-fi stuff. I can't remember. Anyway, this book is set in the Second World War and follows a little girl who befriends a Jew, which is not a good thing to do in the Second World War when you're German. And yeah, it's told from the perspective of death. Everyone says that it's told from the perspective of death, which is true, but it's also kind of like told from the perspective of the girl. Like, you don't get her inner thoughts as far as I can remember. You get the inner thoughts of death, but the main character isn't death. The main character is the little girl. And yeah, it's just such a beautifully written story, which is why I want Tom to read it. Like, not necessarily, like, I love the story and everything, but I would be interested to know if he appreciates a story for the way it's written, in the sense of this book at least. Because you can appreciate a story for so many different things. You can love the characters, you can love the plot, you can, love all sorts of different things. This book in particular, I love because of the I was about to say written language, that's not what I wanted to say. Because of the writing style, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And like, Tom really appreciates good cinematography in film, for instance, so he might appreciate good writing as well. I don't know. Yeah, those are the books that I wanted to show off in this video. There are so many others that I want Tom to read. Basically, I want him to read every single book that I have ever enjoyed, which he's never gonna do because that's just a ridiculous thing to hope for. But he has quite the library that he can take from. Like, I have 2 shelves behind me and also 3 shelves next to me. I think I own about 300 books at this point, over 300 books at this point. So yeah, he will always have a lot of choice. But if he does come to me and ask what he should read next, one of these 5 books is definitely going to be on the list. That was everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!